Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to Inside Winston Cup Racing. Today we're in Trinity, North Carolina at the Labonte Racing Shops. This is where they build and maintain the cars that Bobby Labonte, former NASCAR Busch Grand National champion, has been driving for the last several years, the Slim Jim Chevrolets. Well, you see there's a new name on it. Christmas came early for David Green this year. He will be the driver of the Slim Jim Chevrolets in 1993. And a little later on in the program, we'll talk with David.
In 1991, David Green battled Jeff Gordon for Rookie of the Year honors in the BGN Series. Now, after working with Bobby Labonte's team in 1992, David takes over the driving duties of the Slim Jim Chevrolet. We'll talk to him.
And we'll have part two of our talk with the 1992 Winston Cup champion, Alan Kowicki.
When I started getting offers to drive for other teams, the offers weren't any better than I could have done with my own team. And had his offer come a little bit earlier in my career, you know, I may have taken it.
With Speed Weeks less than 2 months away, the first week of testing here at Daytona brought several teams south to Florida as they get ready for 1993. We'll have the story from the world's center of racing.
Inside Winston Cup Racing is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on.
Spread the word around. Guess who's back in town?
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
Put a tingle in your jingle with TNN.
'Tis the season.
Yeah, let's all get together and celebrate the 12 videos of Christmas.
You know, along with some great holiday videos, we're going to have some fun, too. I'm going to take my little boy to see Santa.
Well, I'm going to visit with Tom T and Dixie Hall at Animal Land.
And I'm going to do some last-minute Christmas shopping.
Well, I've got 10 nieces and nephews who are going to have a big Christmas surprise in store for me.
So join us.
The 12 Videos of Christmas, Thursday at 8 Eastern on TNN.
As you can tell by that statistic, some fine race cars have come out of these shops in Trinity, North Carolina, and this is one of the finest facilities that we've had the honor of doing our show in. Bobby Labonte and Terry Labonte have done a great job here, and they do produce good race cars out of here. Now, David Green has driven some good race cars over the years. He raced at Nashville, Tennessee, and all over that part of the country, and then in what is now the NASCAR Winston All-Pro Series. He was a big winner there as well, and he has won in the Busch Grand National Series as well, but he has never worked for a team that had a full-time sponsor like Slim Jim and race out of a facility like this. And he's certainly looking forward to it. Bill Weber had an opportunity to sit down and talk with him while we were here.
In 1991, David Green burst onto the Grand National scene by taking the pole for the Goodies 300 season opener at Daytona. It was the beginning of a solid rookie season that saw David collect 9 top 10 finishes, battle for Rookie of the Year honors, and capture his first victory, winning at Lanier Raceway in Georgia. Then following the season, David lost his ride, but not his pride, and went to work on Bobby Labonte's Slim Jim team.
You had tremendous success in 1991 driving the A car. Then you laid out all of 1992, were very busy and efficient here, but that not being behind the wheel with a guy with your background must have been tough.
Yeah, it was. You know, the hardest thing was going to Daytona the year prior to that, sitting on the pole. So it was tough, and but you know, I learned a whole lot. I learned a whole lot about other drivers, meaning Bobby and Terry. I learned a lot of things that I really didn't feel comfortable in talking about. They feel the same way. So, you know, they're human just like the rest of us are. So I learned a whole lot in that deal. And I did get to run a couple races, you know, and when I did get behind the wheel, it was I tried to wear it out all in 5 minutes there, you know, but I've learned how to be a part of a championship deal, and that's been a big change from what I've been used to.
David made his mark as a driver during the late 80s in NASCAR's All-American Challenge Series. He had 5 wins and 47 top 10 finishes and 90 starts. Meanwhile, he continued to work as a car builder for Day Enterprises in Nashville. That's how we met the Labanis.
Well, David is a good friend of mine, and he called me after he lost his ride year before last, after into '91, and asked me basically what should he do. And I said, well, I have no idea. You know, I don't know what you should do. And it didn't take me about 2 minutes to realize that I need to have him over working for me at the time, because I needed some people working, and hoping he'd get a ride. You know, just basically just be seen in North Carolina.
You know, the biggest thing was, you know, his confidence in me, whether it be spotting, sitting up on top of the truck, or just whatever. He never made me feel like that I was just there just to be standing around, you know, so that meant a whole lot.
In 1993, David returns to race in the Busch Series, taking over one of the most prominent rides on the circuit, the 1991 Series champion and the runner-up in '92. He knows his name on the car means extra pressure to perform when he's in it, because this is more than just another seat in a very competitive series. It's a piece of a proud racing family.
And it means an awful lot, and it probably won't sink into tomorrow or Daytona or whatever, that I'm driving a race car for the Labanis, you know, and that's somebody that you watched race for years, and it's awful special. I mean, this is, I guess, the first time I think that anybody's drove their race cars that weren't in the family, so to speak, so that means a whole lot.
In 1991, David posted 6 top 5 finishes and wound up 13th in points. In 1993, his personal goal is to surpass the achievements of his rookie season and emerge from the shadows of success cast by his car owner. During the '92 season, he watched, listened, and learned, and confesses his layout has sharpened his awareness of the business of racing.
I really say that what happened 2 years ago with me was probably a turn for the better, you know, because now this opportunity's here, and being associated with these people and seeing their everyday operation of a championship team, the relation with that and relation with a major sponsor is something I've never dealt with before. It's really brought me more aware of what it takes to run an everyday deal in a championship form, you know. So it's really opened my horizon into racing. It's not only on the racetrack now, it's from the time you get up and go through the gate to the time you leave.
In 1993, David Green does not want to replace Bobby Labonte. He simply wants to carry on the team's winning tradition.
His famous words were, you know, I know you don't want to work for me forever, that you want to drive, but I'd like for you to work for me forever. So maybe he had an insight then that I'd be working for him, not as a worker, but for a driver. But and it was awful tough throughout the year. You know, people would say, well, is this going to happen? And I said, well, I'd like for it to, but I'm not going to get excited, you know. And maybe I'll get excited when this is over, but because it really hadn't sunk in yet. But it's going to be real neat.
Race fans, order your copy of the '92 Winston Cup yearbook for Christmas and enter the Great Book of Rides Sweepstakes 3, where you could win an all-expense-paid trip of a lifetime to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600, or win an official NASCAR racing jacket, or copies of NASCAR Video Magazine. Time's limited, so call 1-800-632-1100 now and order your Winston Cup yearbook, and we'll automatically enter you into the sweepstakes. Remember, you cannot enter the sweepstakes over the phone unless you place an order. To enter without making a purchase, send your complete name, address, and phone number on a postcard to this address. You'll love this bonded leather coffee table collector's edition, featuring great color photography of the entire '92 season, including a special final season tribute to the King. Hurry, only a limited number are available to the public, and at just $34.95, they'll sell out fast. So get your copy of the 92 Winston Cup Yearbook today and book your ride to next year's Coca-Cola 600. Entry deadline December 31st, and you must be 21 or older to win. Give your race fan the gift that lasts a lifetime. Order your copy of the Winston Cup Yearbook today.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil with not one but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Unbelievable, spectacular, breathtaking, crash impact. 60 minutes of blazing crash action in this special edition 2-volume set. See outrageous motocross and road racing action, sensational Indy cars, Grand Prix, NASCAR, monster trucks, powerboats, and more. Only $19.95. This exclusive 2-tape set is jam-packed with magnificent racing and crash action footage featuring top drivers from around the world. Order now and get absolutely free. Havoc 1, over 45 minutes of rare footage, including some of the most thrilling and horrifying moments that made early racing history. And you'll get this incredible 2-tape offer, plus your Havoc video free. 3 tapes that'll blow you away. Guaranteed or your money back.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-228-2229. That's 1-800-228-2229. Or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3.95 for shipping and handling.
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products. It's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
Coming up Sunday morning at 11:30 Eastern, we'll have all the news and highlights from the world of motorsports, as well as the latest from the Slick 50 Sprint Car World Series as the nation's best sprint car drivers prepare for round number 6. Join us.
Race Day, 2 different editions, 11:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Eastern, TNN Motorsports Sundays.
Last week, we talked with 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup champion Alan Kowicki about his drive to the championship this year. Now we're going to take a look at his team and how he got to where he is today. And I'll tell you, folks, it hasn't been easy for him. There have been a lot of ups and downs. He hasn't had sponsorship all along the way. He hasn't had the kind of help that he needed to field a NASCAR Winston Cup team and be in a competitive form. But he did it his way. He had a lot of offers from other teams just to drive for them. But that wasn't the way he wanted to do it. He wanted to do it the Alan Kowicki way. So today we're going to talk to him about his rise to the top.
Alan Kowicki's rise to the top of Winston Cup racing has been anything but a smooth ride. Sure, he won the Rookie of the Year title back in 1986, but what it took to get there and what it's taken to get here all the way to the Winston Cup, well, it's been a rough road. This Wisconsin native has always refused to veer off course and rise to a Winston Cup crown.
I had run 5 races in 1985 for Bill Terry from Greenville, South Carolina, and going into 86, I thought, well, now is the time. If I'm going to do it, the time's right. And there were a couple of potential rides, a couple of potential sponsors, and I said, well, I'm going to take a gamble. One of these should come through. And so I sold my ASA equipment, gave a notice on the apartment, got ready to move, and January came and they were having a going away party for me. But I didn't know where I was going to. None of the opportunities came through. So Bill said, come on down and we'll go to Daytona and see what happens. And had a 1-race sponsorship from Quincy Steakhouses. Went to Daytona, missed making the race in the last couple hundred yards. Lake Speed and Dick Trickle drafted on by me. And so we went to Richmond to do a makeup race for Quincy's because we didn't make Daytona. Turned in like the 6th fastest qualifying time, and it started to rain with about 4 cars left to qualify. So qualifying was wiped out. They went by entry postmarks and points, and we didn't have any points because we didn't make Daytona.
Wow.
And the entry didn't get in on time because we didn't know what we were doing. We were just going from race to race. So went from being a 6th fastest car to not making the show there. Eventually, we went on to Rockingham. I think we finished like 14th. They were the highest finishing rookie. And after that, I bought the car from Bill and moved to Charlotte, and had that one car and a couple of leased engines from Prototype Engineering, and had 2 full-time employees, and that's what we got through the Rookie of the Year battle with.
But facing the best drivers in the world on the Winston Cup circuit week in and week out turned into even a bigger battle. A fight that this young man attempting to own and drive his own car nearly lost. Like in 1991 when he headed for Daytona without a sponsor.
Well, it's been I started at the very bottom, and it's been just a gradual, steady climb to get to this point. The Quincy sponsorship led to a deal with Xerox Antifreeze, and I stayed with them for 4 years, and that was a good relationship. I made a lot of friends in that company and felt real comfortable with them. Some factors changed in the marketplace and with their advertising agency and so forth, and they ended up getting out of racing, and the timing was particularly bad for me, and I ended up having to start the 91 season with no sponsor as a result, and ran one race at Daytona with a camouflage car with the Army on it that R.J. Reynolds backed when the war was going on, and ran a couple of races unsponsored after that, and eventually led to the Hooters sponsorship. We went to Atlanta with an unsponsored car and won the pole for that race, and the car that they had intended to sponsor didn't make the race, and they were looking for someone's car to put their name on, and it was like less than 24 hours before the race. They just came up to me and said, well, do you want to put this name on the car for the race tomorrow? And I said, well, I was in a tough situation there, wondering what was going to happen as far as sponsorship went. So we took that. It was a 1-race deal. It turned into a 3-race deal, and then they came back for the rest of the year and eventually signed a multi-year contract with them. And it's turned into be a bigger, better sponsorship than I ever thought possible when we first got together.
From 1987 through 1991, Alan continued to receive offers from some of the top car owners in the business to drive their cars, including the legendary Junior Johnson.
I have not tried to make a big point out of that. I don't.
Yeah. It's been made, though.
Right, but I'm not the one that's going around trying to brag about it or anything like that. I mean, I've just concentrated on doing the best job that I can with this team. Once I made that decision, I didn't second-guess myself. I didn't say, well, maybe I should have, or could I do it next year, or something like that. I just focused my efforts into making this team the best that I could, and just worked our way up to the top.
We appreciate Alan taking the time in New York, which was a very busy time for him, to sit down and talk with us so that we could bring you folks up to date a little bit more on him and his career. Well, the championship is nice, but you got to start defending it, and the defense starts with testing at Daytona, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the testing that's been going on.
Championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
On the road again, I'm on the road again, on the road again, I'm on.
Learn how to replace your master cylinder and do it right.
We'll also show you how to overhaul your drum brakes.
That's this week on Shade Tree Mechanic.
Please join us.
Shade Tree Mechanic, noon and 9 p.m. Eastern today on TNN.
Ready? And action.
Hi, I'm Katie Osland. Join me on TNN for my first USO tour of the Caribbean. Trust me, babies, the islands ain't never gonna be the same.
USO Celebrity Tour, KT Osland, Monday night on TNN.
He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland.
Spend Christmas with the Gatlin's, Friday night on TNN.
Next week, we'll devote our entire show to Richard Petty. Recently, Ned caught up with the King on a cruise through the Caribbean. Richard discusses his career and his future next week on IWCR.
You know, a lot of people think when the checkered flag falls in Atlanta in November, the season ends and the race teams and the drivers don't have anything to do until the Daytona 500 in February. It doesn't quite work that way. In fact, I believe that they're more busy during the winter months than they are during the racing season. And of course, the first official test by NASCAR started recently at the Big D in Daytona, and our Bill Weber was right there.
Like any new year, 1993 includes new hurdles, tighter templates, larger spoilers, and new front ends. Both the Fords and the General Motors teams got a crack at the track last week, trying to answer the car-building questions that loom during every December.
It doesn't seem like you guys bang on the car as much. I mean, you change springs and shocks, but it doesn't seem like you work quite as hard massaging the body as you used to in tests like that.
Yes and no. It's so defined right now. I mean, there are very few gray areas. Even though the car is gray, there are very few gray areas. They have a template for just about everywhere on the car now, and so when we have the car right when it leaves the shop, and because of the way Gary has enforced the rules, I mean, there's no need in not having the car right before it comes here, because we know once they get here that, and they put their templates on, they got to fit. If they don't, you're not going to run the car. You got to fix it. So, you know, there's a lot of pluses to doing it right and having rules that are black and white and leaving the gray areas out, and it makes it a little simpler for us.
Teams come to Daytona with varying attack plans. Winston Cup champion Alan Kowicki brought two Hooters for Thunderbirds simply to test motors.
You know, that was probably one of our weaker points was the restrictor plate program, so we're working real hard on that and making some progress here. Things are looking a little bit better.
Wally Dallenbach Jr. and the Keystone Ford crew were running the entire gauntlet, preparing for their second full season with Roush Racing.
It's been going real well. We've got the stuff that we're going to race with, so we're all legal and testing a lot of different things. Jack's been trying a lot of things with the motors and everything, and man, we're real happy with the test. We're running real well.
Car owner Bill Davis and Winston Cup rookie Bobby Labonte made their first laps together as a team. Priority number one here was seat time, along with testing some different setups.
Yeah, motors and gears, carburetors, and, you know, doing a lot of different things with that. You can't really do much of the body anymore. And, you know, I know when we come back in February, we'll have to be, everybody have to be right, so that'll be a true gauge then. You know, what happens now might not be quite so true then. But, you know, it's just good to be able to come down here and run and get some laps on the racetrack, because you can't ever beat experience, and just get every lap I run, just one more lap that I'll have.
What were your priorities when you came down here? Obviously, getting Bobby some seat time had to be number one.
Yeah, I think that was it, and Bobby working with us. We've been real good friends for a long time, but we've never even heard him on the radio. So, you know, we got an idea of what he wanted, and he got an idea of how we do things, and it was real worthwhile.
Another new combination for 1993 is Dale Earnhardt and crew chief Andy Petrie. The Goodwrench team brought a pair of Chevrolets to Florida, searching to solve the mystery of speed for 1993.
Trying to go faster with these big spoilers, it's got to slow down quite a bit. The Fords run a little faster in their first test, and we're a little off that, so we're just tuning and tweaking around, see what we can find. We've got two different cars here. One's a basically a whole new car and body and all. And this car we got over here is the car we ran last year. So we're just tweaking them around a little bit, and it takes quite a bit of time to fine-tune them. And you run a restrictor plate and every 100th counts, so it's a big difference.
Petrie joins the 3 team after a long stint as crew chief with Harry Gant.
The car owners are a lot alike. Leo's been very, very successful, and Richard has too. And it's, one first-class operation to another. So that part of it is very similar.
How about adjusting to the driver?
They're very similar too, believe it or not. Harry and Dale are a lot alike in the way that what they communicate, and that part of it has been a lot alike. So the transition's been fairly easy for me.
You going with me?
Yeah, let's go.
Today's mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
And our question today is from Lee Maker of Pleasant Hill, California, who writes, does everybody use the same bolt pattern on the wheels, or is there a special pattern, say, for Ford or Chevrolet? Well, Lee, for that answer, we'll go to Steve Wilson, who's the tire specialist on the Ray Bestis Fords that Sterling Marlin will drive in 1993.
Well, Lee, basically everybody does use the same bolt pattern to keep costs down, but basically what the pattern is off of like a 3/4 ton pickup, heavy-duty pickup truck, and it's all the wheels are the same because we do change wheels during the race. Everybody borrows people's tires, and so everybody's fits everybody's.
If you have any race questions, write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240-417, Charlotte 28224. If we use your question on the air, you'll receive this embroidered Miller Genuine Draft jacket. You'll also receive a copy of NASCAR videos, A Week in the Life of a Race Team, the latest volume in the exciting series, bringing the NASCAR lifestyle roaring into your living room.
Well, our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and our thanks to Bobby Labonte and all the Slim Jim crew for allowing us to come in here. Wish them well in 1993. And on behalf of the entire staff of Inside Winston Cup Racing, we wish you and yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you right back here on TNN next week.
Inside Winston Cup Racing has been brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Transportation for the Inside Winston Cup Racing crew provided by Fleetwood Enterprises, makers of a full line of excellent recreational vehicles. Clothing for the Inside Winston Cup Racing crew provided by Simpson Waste Products, where innovation never stops.
Race Day, next on TNN. This is TNN, the Nashville Network, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information.